Hello and welcome to Did You Know Gaming Extra. In today's episode, we'll be looking at changes in re-releases of Nintendo games. Games are often changed and updated over time, and these changes range anywhere from small bug fixes to a total overhaul of a game's mechanics. This can be done with downloadable patches and DLC, or in the case of the Pokémon franchise, with re-releases of games. The Safari Zone in Pokémon Red and Blue requires a $500 entrance fee to be paid up front, providing the player with access to the park, 30 Safari Balls, and a 500-step limit. If the player is exceptionally careless with their money and runs out of funds to be able to afford this entrance fee, they will unfortunately get stuck. This situation could arise if the player runs out of trainers to fight and has no items to sell. Without funds to enter the park, the player would be halted from progress in the game, as the park contains HM03, Surf, which allows players to travel to Cinnabar Island. With Pokémon Yellow, it seems the developers felt this was a big enough issue to be addressed. As a result, with this release of Yellow, if the player speaks with the Safari Zone worker without the money to enter, he will take pity and allow the player to enter with only a single Safari Ball. This change was made so that players wouldn't find themselves in a position where they'd have to restart the game from the very beginning if they found themselves in the unlikely scenario of having no funds. While this friendly fix was added in Pokémon Yellow, the original text of the attendant telling the player that they can't enter without paying the fee can still be found in the game's data. This wouldn't be the last time a Pokémon game would be updated to fix an oversight. The game Pokémon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team were released together and would connect in an unusual way. One title would go into the Game Boy Advance slot, and the other would go into the Nintendo DS cartridge slot, allowing them to interact. This inventive use of the DS had some unforeseen consequences, however. Due to a programming error in the original Japanese release of Blue Rescue Team, the game would cause any and all save data to be erased from the Game Boy Advance game in the bottom slot if it wasn't Red Rescue Team. In other words, players could lose their save files by attempting to play other Game Boy Advance games between sessions of Blue Rescue Team, if they didn't take out their Game Boy Advance cartridge before booting up Blue Rescue Team. This was clearly a big issue for people making use of the DS's backwards compatibility, and the bug was fixed in all subsequent releases of Blue Rescue Team. Another example of changes made to a re-release of a game can be found in the 3DS Virtual Console version of The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening DX, released more than a decade after the original. Throughout the game, the player has the chance to encounter the Old Broom Lady. When initiating conversation, Link was always met with a hearty "Yahoo!" from the woman. However, in the 2013 Virtual Console re-release, this dialogue was changed to a few different variations like "Hello" and "Yippee!" Legend of Localization author Clyde Mandolin, aka Tomato, speculated that this was changed following the growth of the search engine and internet giant Yahoo, particularly because the phrase in-game is not only the same word, but also appears in the same format as the company's logo, with the lettering in block capitals followed by an exclamation mark. Digital re-releases often face minor changes, with some being more noticeable than others. When publishing some games for Virtual Console, old licensing rights have to be considered and adjusted. Wave Race 64 was one of these games, which held a license with Kawasaki, an engineering company who specialize in motorsports. This included the use of the Kawasaki brand for banner advertisements seen around the barrier of the track. When releasing the game on the Wii Virtual Console, these banners were changed from Kawasaki to Nintendo DS advertisements. This was because the license to show Kawasaki's brand had expired between the game's first release and the digital re-release. However, unlike most altered re-releases, when the game was re-released for a second time on the Wii U Virtual Console, these banners were changed back to Kawasaki-branded advertising. And now it's time for this episode's random piece of trivia. Today we're looking at the classic Nintendo 64 arcade racing game, Cruis'n USA. If the player achieves a high score in the game, they'll be asked to enter their initials for the high scoreboard. After entering the initials, holding left for about a minute while controlling the conveyor belt will lead to a decapitated head sliding past and saying, "I love this job." You might also be interested in this Pokémon Mystery Dungeon game that was released exclusively in Japan for the Nintendo Wii. To find out more on that, why not take a look at the Region Locked video found on this channel. Speaking of Region Locked, we've recently announced a t-shirt and hoodie for the Region Locked book, being funded over on Unbound. If you want to help fund the book, maybe grab yourself a t-shirt or a hoodinkadink, go take a look at that in the description. As per usual, a big hearty thanks to our patrons for helping to support the show. If you'd like to join them, take a look at our Patreon page found in the description below. Yahoo! 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 Met with a hearty Yahoo! Yahoo!